And you know what's so interesting? People can't see this, but when we're doing the trailer, then everybody's sitting still waiting, and then you get up and you leave the studio. You're doing something completely else, and I'm thinking, Darren, it's coming, and then you're back on time. Exactly, it's incredible.
I
Hello,
don't miss a
everybody.
beat. I love doing this. It's like a little dance. And when I get up and leave, it's I just stretch or, karate kick the air or something.
Do something. Yeah.
No, I get up and move because I'm going to sit here and be still. And I'm a wiggle worm type of a person. I fall on a lot of spectrums. So I get up and move so I can concentrate,
So that's what's happening when we're just going live and we're not yet on screen.
I'm always right there with you. No one has to be concerned.
It's so funny. And we have a special guest today, Darren.
Oh my gosh. I'm
so
excited.
excited. I'm so excited. And today's think tank, we're doing it a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, we're in a Zoom privately on the Facebook page of the Octopus Movement, the closed Facebook page. But today, we thought, let's bring Rashmi to the audience so everybody could see her and that everybody can think with us in this think tank session. Because of the octopus, we did a poll and we asked people, what do you want to talk about? And we want to talk about support. How do you support people? How does it work? It's when you want to help someone, what is the best way to go? How can you support anyone? And I was thinking the best guest we could have in that perspective is Rashmi, because she knows how to support people. Oh my goodness! In 9 years' time, she saved 5,000 girls, I think. She did an amazing job, and she is doing an amazing job, and she understands what supporting is. So, what do you think, Darren? Should we ask her to come in the studio?
Not yet, because I want to tell you that I was blessed with I don't even know if it was an hour, but it felt like no time went by because we were just making sure the stream was going to be right. And so I got to talk to Rashmi. And so not only have I read all of the wonderful things about her and what she's doing, she backs it all up with the human side. And so I was just so honored to be present with her and to hang out. And so please welcome to the stage our friend Rashmi.
Yay, there she is.
Hello.
Hi, Rashmi. So good to have you here.
And let me say really quickly, if you are part of this stream, our studio is now full. We will rotate people in. So please, hang out, watch it on YouTube. But if you're coming into the studio, you can send us private chat messages. We can only have 10 loaded in here at a time. So we are full at the moment if you're waiting. Thank you.
Yeah. And just go live with us and leave chats. And if you say, I want to be in the studio, then we kick someone out. Not Rashmi, not Darren, maybe me. And then we make some room for you to say something. Anyway, Rashmi, thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Perry. It's an honor. And I feel blessed to part of this moment and this part of people. and it feels like that I'm at home. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you.
And it's our honor to have you in our home, and we hope you will stay for a very long time. And what would you like to drink, Rashmi? What can I serve you?
Nothing. Delhi, where I am, it's very hot, so I have my iced water.
Iced water. I have my tea. I'm in the Netherlands, and it's not that cold, but it's rainy, and it's the end of the day, so I have warm tea. Rashmi, can you please tell us about your foundation, about the amazing support you're giving in India to many people? Can you give us a brief look into your life?
Sure. Hello, everybody. I am Rashmi Tiwary. And if anybody has difficulty in pronouncing my name, you can call it short Rash, because not many people call me Rash, whatever its meaning is, but that's easier way to call me. I started a foundation which is called Aahan Foundation. Aahan is a Sanskrit word. It means new dawn, new sunrise, and that's what we are planning to do. I work with indigenous girls in the eastern state of India, which is Jharkhand, and its literal meaning is a land of forests. And because indigenous people are very connected with forest, most of the indigenous people are in that state. We work with the girls. Why we work with the girls from the indigenous community? The answer is that they face extreme gender-based violence. And when I say gender-based violence, it's not domestic violence or breaking the glass ceiling or discrimination. I'm talking about child trafficking as early as 4 year old. I'm talking about child sexual abuse. I'm talking about lots of dreams lost, lives lost, just because somebody wanted cheap labor. I'm talking about when girls, 12, 13-year old, act as surrogate mothers, and that also by force. I'm talking about girls who sometimes also be part of. And it's very shameful that plastic surgery, because their skin is taken off to do some kind of cosmetic surgeries. And most of the girls are under 18. It's a shame for not only India but also the whole humanity that such crime still exists. It's the third largest in the world, that we still have human slavery despite being so many people against it. We have the highest number of human slaves ever in the history today. And that is why we chose to work with indigenous girls. What we do, we help them, get to themselves through life skills, education, arts, and sports. In arts, they do folk arts, and they are also trying to revive their own dying art, which is a wall art, and they are trying to bring it on paper and showcase to the world. So the world may have forgotten these girls, but they are bringing life to not only their life but also the community. They are doing a lot of community works, and as I was telling Darren, that we call them brave hearts. And every brave heart is an octopus because she's considered crazy, weird, everything. But she has chosen to not only fight for herself, but for many other girls. And till date, indirectly, through our awareness program and all, we have touched more than 25,000 girls. And through our direct program, it's more than 6,000 girls since 2013. And still, it's nothing. It's just one small step. So I'm here today to talk about it, to see that how can we garner support to these causes and do something, because it's not only India, but it's across the world, and we have to save our children.
Yeah.
So how do we get together
Rashmi,
and to
how can we do
yeah.
something? Like, we're all here. There's so many people that want to hear your story and how we can connect to that. And we're in all these corners of the world. And part of when you and I were hanging out today, the comment you made is how pockets of evil are so powerful because they clump together like thieves stealing a child, right? It's a community of and a network of crime that is doing these operations. It's very militant, actually, a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about how can we, in positivity, connect and lift each other up and be a network and all of these things. And so I guess on the smallest level, what can we do today? What can we do tomorrow, in the simplest way to support you, to support this type of thing throughout the world, or not support the wrong things. How can we figure that out? We don't want to be subscribing to companies that are using slave labor. Like, there's all these things there, and there's so many corners and depths to this. But from your perspective as a community here, what can we do in the smallest way?
uh, in smallest way, the first thing which comes to my mind is that we start talking about it, because change comes when we first accept the status quo. There are so many people who are still in denial that slavery exists. So first thing is that to accept and then talk about it and support these girls in their work, because they are already fighting the battle. But if we don't support with resources, if we don't support with them with skills, how are they going to survive? Because their battle is not to get up again and fight. Their battle is also to fight with their own parents who want to earn money from them. They have to deal with the trauma.
Yeah.
So people who are in healing, people who are in skill, people who can send them to universities, people who can make them study, people who can create work through from their art and create an international market for them. That is what is needed. And I think if we all stand united, and as you rightly said, and I always again and again say at so many forums, that all the bad forces always work in unity, they never work alone. If a child is trafficked from the village level to the city level, everybody is in hands and glove, whether it's the family, whether it's the uncle, whether it's the agent, whether it's the transporter, whether it's the local police force, whether it's the politician, everybody is working together. But when it comes to people who are fighting it, they are working on their own. So many a times it's a whole community versus one person. And that fight will not sustain. Evil forces will always win because the good forces are not very strong. And how will they become strong? Strong is only when we come together.
Rashmi,
Yeah.
do you sometimes dream of an opportunity for the world to stand up, because it's when I listen to you, the solution is very simple. We just have to raise our voice, all of us, all over the world, because nobody agrees in child labor except a few who are doing it, right?
Yes.
It's so few. It's
It
so
is.
few compared to us.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
frustrating.
nothing.
We can't stop it instantly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can we mobilize the world to say no? Is it what is it? How can we all say no? Because it's so difficult, because it's embedded in all our products that we're buying as cheap as possible, of course. And do we stop buying products in the West? That's not the solution. How do we stand up and say no to this? All of us. Do you have an idea about that, Rashmi?
It's not, that okay, you cannot immediately say no to all these things. But how many times we even talk about it? And how many times we support these communities? When I started, I was the only one. And I didn't know anything about the trafficking or the indigenous community or how grave the problem is. And I work in conflict areas where there are militants too,
Hmm.
who make the matter worse. But I started doing small, small things. And it brought change. It brought change in a way that there are so many villages today where there is no girl who is working. They are all going to school. So I'm not asking for very big things where we say that, okay, we are not boycotting this product or boycotting that product. Why not start positively by owning communities, talking about it, start tagging people?
Terry, I'm going to pop in here because I go back a long way with Rashmi. We
I
were
know.
all
Yeah.
blessed to be part of the Vital Voices Women Leadership Program, and we did a number of things together. And I remember when we were in South Africa, a group of them came to South Africa, and I organized an evening where we got a dance company and a poet, Lebo Mashile, who did a part of a performance called Threads. And in the audience were a lot of these women, the women leaders from Vital Voices. And then at the end, we sat and had a conversation with the team that were dancing, the choreograph that wrote. And one of the other women that was part of it actually burst into tears, and she works with trafficking and abused women in Kenya, and she burst into tears, and her giving to the dancers and the performers was, tonight I've realized I've lived only in my head. I'm dead from the neck down. I promise you, I will go back and reclaim my body. People like that need to be connected. So there's somebody in Kenya working with the Kenyan challenges. Here is Rashmi in India working with the Indian challenges. They are closest to the ground. I believe if we do anything, we need to connect people at that level together so that they form a community they can exchange and rely on and support one another. And then we need to look at how we work with the product of their efforts. That's my 10 cents.
Yay! Well, that's a very good 10 cents, Eugenie. I like that. We need to we need to connect the people who do make a difference everywhere on the planet, and build a community of people who are making a difference in this world. Um, that's a beautiful idea, right?
One of the things that also came from our discussion earlier was how similar the indigenous problem is in India and the American Indian, because I'm indigenous, Wewakum Native, Likwadawi people from Vancouver Island, Canada. And, I'm in Wanapum territory in Washington State. And the poverty and the lack of voice these people feel like they have, is a problem. And the thing I have had issues with the last 2 years, I'm trying to raise the voices and help elevate the people in just my small tribe of people, and that 780 people around, and they don't understand the power of doing something like this, and I can't get them to even talk about their business online or promote themselves or even make a LinkedIn profile. I'm wanting to cross boundaries and use technology, but the indigenous lifestyle doesn't work with technology. But in our world right now, it's the fastest way that I know how to elevate somebody. What do you think? Is that okay to press on them with technology to raise this voice? That it needs to happen, but I don't know how to do this encouragement. If we have a voice, and I have a population on LinkedIn that some listen to this around the world, and if I can get these people to talk, it might help them feel a way connected, because for some reason in Europe, every time we talk indigenous stuff, there's a really deep connection, and I've really found that in the last 2 years. And so what can we do to cross that line? And what do you do, Rashmi, to cross that line? Because you're not forcing technology, but you are giving tools and saying some of these gals may get a YouTube channel going, and what will come of that, who knows? But yeah, tell us, how can we do this?
Yes, and I will come back to Eugenie's point, and then I will link these two. When people come together, I always say that we talk about trafficking, but we should always think that why is it happening? And trafficking in every country has different dynamics. So we have to keep in mind that in India, if a father is selling one girl or sending her to work at a very early age, what are the reasons? And most of the time, it's economic compulsions. I haven't met a single parent who willingly wants to just send their child to work. It's always one versus five members in the family. So if they have to survive, it's okay to send one to give food to the other five. I have seen hunger in my life, so I know how it feels like. And I have seen that, when there is no food and there is no hope also for the food, you're willing to make any kind of compromises. So the first thing is that to create local livelihoods for people. And most of the indigenous communities are artisans. And that's why I always insist on that why not we create something which is international. And this way we will be able to say no to those big companies who are promoting slavery. That we have an alternate product to it, which is slavery free. Why not get people to support them and create products which are really international and in demand? And I can bet that those will be still cheaper than those big companies. Because these indigenous community people, they are not greedy. They don't want too much. They just want to survive. Their needs are very less. And then coming back to Darren's point that technology, when I started Neither do we have resources, nor people were willing to do it. I used the hunger point to take technology in the girls. I had seen hunger, and that's how we connected. That I was hungry, you are hungry today. I was as lost as you are lost today. So I just took few snacks and sat on the road with a laptop, that let's sit and eat and watch a movie where a girl has gone to big city and has been cheated, and how has she been cheated. And you can just push one or two buttons and you can see more stories. And gradually girls started loving it. And then I started making them understand that technology is the biggest leveler. If we want to fight inequality, it's the technology, because Google doesn't differentiate through ad and all, of course, but Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, you can reach to as many audience as you want if you know how to do it. So why not, teach them all these things? And girls, after a few years, they really understood. And as I was discussing earlier, that now they are going to start their own YouTube channel, which is, they are calling it Jungle Butterflies. And they are working on it, which will not only discuss how they have reached where they are today, what are the causes they are promoting. They are going to invite guests who will talk about their ups and downs in life. They are also going to take questions. Plus, they are going to revive their own indigenous cuisine again. They are going to talk about the food, the local food, the medicines, the plant, how are they beneficial to people. They are creating a hut which is, even the government is not promoting them that, but they are reviving, and everything they are doing it on their own, getting the mud from the fields to creating the hut, and that will be their YouTube set. And everything how they have done it, it's through, they have access to laptop and they started exploring, and they started coming up with the ideas. 2 years back, they came to me, and I had created a very bad website on my own. And they came to me and said, our website looks very poor compared to other NGOs' website. So do you don't have money or what? Why don't you create some good website for us? It looks very bad because we are not that bad. This is what tech does. They talk about alcoholism, they talk about discrimination, they are talking about going to Harvard and doing a psychology course, they are talking about of becoming a fighter pilot. And my everything is online. So teachers from Singapore, London, everywhere, they are teaching them, and we can do exchange programs.
I
I
think
love that.
story is also a very powerful medium. And to get the traditional stories told, and link them with other communities, with other cultures. We should all be telling our stories because we've lost our humanity. And once we start hearing one another's stories, we start looking at one another with different eyes. Story for me is incredibly powerful, and not Disney story or Instagram story, real story.
Yes, I agree.
Rashmi, can we have a look at Kane's question, because he's asking, what does your foundation need to make an impact? Do you need extra advising? Do you need financing? Do you need more marketing, more volunteers? What um, what would you like to have extra in your foundation to make even more impact? And I love the idea, of course, for technology and social media. Do the girls all need a mobile phone so that they can make TikToks? I'm just thinking aloud. But what would you need to do even more than you're doing right now?
Thank you, Ken, for asking this question, and thank you for even thinking about us. Yeah, my answer is yes to all, and because we need everything, and besides that, we would also need, that if somebody can help us how to showcase our brave hearts. That's the biggest challenge right now I'm facing, that I don't know how to showcase our work, and whosoever knows me personally, they admire, but they know, if they talk to girls, they admire, but I don't know how to do LinkedIn, social media, how to do newsletters, how to reach out to people. And somewhere it has, I always blame myself that I have failed as a leader, because I was all the time working on the ground and trying to bring the difference, and I forgot to tell the story to the world.
I have two ideas, if I may share. Sorry, Darren, do you wanted to say something?
I was just going to say, on the basic level, what I've done for my kids is just set them up with a LinkedIn and just get them in network with some good people, so I know if I'm doing that, there's people way better than me in the audience that do that for a living, or that are skilled. I'm more of a business strategist, in that regard, and I can get lost in the technology. So, yeah, my question: who can help in our audience with this? What creative ways can we help the art? And one idea I had, as far as indigenous artists that I've been connecting with, is setting up printing and scanning. So if I'm able to print out Barbara's painting, which is in the background, or one of your gals' work, and while I'm at a farmer's market, I'm in like this network of indigenous artists, and you could sell well, maybe it doesn't work selling my art in India. Maybe it does, but that ability to maybe order art online and it's sent from here, and so shipping is $10 instead of 30 for a framed piece of art, or a print on a canvas or something like that. I don't know costs, obviously.
Yeah, I wanted to share quickly two ideas before I forget them, and then I pulled
Definitely.
Barbara on stage. She wasn't even asking for it, but I just thought Barbara needs to be. It's her
Thank
painting
you.
in the background, so we need to hear Barbara. Rashmi, two things. We, as the Octopus movement, can of course create a campaign to ask for volunteers on social media to help you. So many people now know how social media works, how you can be doing live streams on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at the same time, what we're doing right now. We can help with that. So we can ask for volunteers in our community to connect with you. And another idea that I have, I always like to know the brands that are using child labor. Is there something in the world that are there websites, or is that already well known? Because if I'm going to the supermarket, or in the shopping mall, or I go buying clothing, I have no idea, right? And I would love to have some kind of app that I can browse brands and that I know these guys are using child labor. Is that, do people know what companies are using child labor, Rashmi? More
Yes,
or less.
there are. Even you can check your slavery footprint also, that how many slaves do you have personally. So by just clicking on that, okay, how many products I use, and in the end, you will get to know that, okay, how many slaves you are employing.
Wow.
And we all are traffickers,
Yeah.
whether we
We
like it or
all are
not.
traffickers. Thank you very much for this beautiful comment just now, Rashmi. We all are, right? We're all buying
Yes.
clothing from big brands and whatnot. Yeah.
We all
If
have
we're
to
buying
experience
Walmart,
that. Yeah,
excuse,
and
if
we
you're
all
buying
have
cheap, it's that.
no, even cosmetics. The state where I work, small kids go in mica mining, and it's dangerous for them. And mica is used in the cosmetics. So all the shining and the bronzer and everything is child labor.
Also, my nail polish, Rashmi.
So
I'm
yes.
not, yeah.
Mine is. Yeah. Thank you, Eugenie. Okay, if you can share anything with me,
I
Rashmi,
will,
on,
I will.
I want to
I will
know.
share, few
That's my
websites which
polish.
will be of use to everybody.
Yeah, I'd like to share that. Then I wanted to go to Barbara because Barbara just had an idea in the chat that I just want to share with
Yeah,
all of
well,
you.
um, we've been talking with Rashmi in the last few days, and one idea was I already spoke to you, Perry, about this, about the idea of making a documentary, actually, not just a video, and I mean, you already contacted the guys about that, but in case they are not interested, we should think of a plan B to create something, a documentary about the foundation and all the situation and all the stories, to tell the stories of some of the girls. Also, because speaking with Rashmi told me so many powerful, beautiful stories, and also, strong stories that everyone should know, and the way she tells them, and it's so important for people to listen to the story from her voice, or directly, through images that can be shot there in India. Another thing is to create a connection between Rashmi and Maxine. And I was thinking about Pick My Brain. They're doing this amazing job with students, and probably we can create a connection between students all over the world already contacted by Pick My Brain and Rashmi and the foundation, so the students can learn about the foundation and what's happening there, and the stories of these girls, and creates a sort of, we say in Italian, gemellaggio, a twin program between.
Sounds not as good as a bicycle path, Barbara.
Yeah, of course. And the other
Sorry, that's a
thing,
little joke between us.
no, it's okay.
But I agree with the Pick My Brain. We need to talk to Maxime about this. Pick My
Yeah,
Brain was on our live show last week on
yeah,
Friday, non-linear shenanigans with guests, and Maxime and Jasmine were there, and we were talking about mentorships.
exactly.
It
So
would
they're
be very interesting to link the topic, and we need to brainstorm about that, because who do we link, and why do we link people with each other to create more awareness? And maybe we have to go
uh,
back to the beginning of Eugenie, saying we need to connect the people who are making a difference. So maybe we can use Pick My Brain for that as well. And then the people that are making a difference, connecting people locally on the ground who are making a difference as well in India. And then, like a web, create
yeah,
bigger awareness and more reach. In the
yep.
meantime, before you answer, Barbara, I have to say something, and then you can answer. And then Eugenie wants to say something, but I'm bringing Mark Halpert on stage because Mark is number one LinkedIn coach in the world. He knows everything about LinkedIn. He dreams about LinkedIn. He looks like LinkedIn. He tastes like LinkedIn. He sounds like LinkedIn. He is LinkedIn. And he just made a remark that maybe for the girls it's better to be on Facebook than LinkedIn. And I'm curious to discuss with Mark as well, what could we do on LinkedIn regarding Rashmi's foundation. So I'm bringing in Mark, but Barbara, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was saying that regarding Maxine and Pick My Brain is also to create the connection between young people all over the world, in US, in Canada, but all over the world, and the girls in India, the girls Rashmi is telling us about. Because if young people, I mean, if we start telling kids, not kids, but like teenagers or young people about what's happening there, they can be, the promoters of the story. And another thing about art, these girls are creating beautiful art, and I hope I will be able to help Rashmi. She asked me to support in this, how to create a better design, or how to use the typical paintings that they are creating to make products that they can sell, even, I mean, also to a Western market. So we could create a different market for this kind of products, not just in India, but here in Europe and elsewhere in the world. So I asked you, Perry, to create this because I'm sure that since we are so many of us octopuses in the world, we can join forces and think about
We
it.
can. And that's what the Octopus movement is all
Yeah.
about. That's
Yeah.
what the Octopus Think Tank is all about. And that's what we created, a mycelium network of atypical thinkers that are thinking outside of the box and come with new solutions and other creations to make a difference in this world. Eugenie, is it okay if we listen to Mark first, or what do you
That's
think?
cool.
That's
let
cool.
Mark go in first.
Mark, we're curious about your LinkedIn blood. How can LinkedIn support Rashmi? It's not by sharing the stories maybe of the girls, but what do you think? You're muted. Mark, you're muted. Mark, you're muted. Ah.
Rashmi and I have already had this conversation, but I want to paraphrase it. Her organization has so much to tell. She has to tell the story from the point of view of the organization, so that people who believe in the mission, who are high net worth individuals, who are on LinkedIn, will give more freely. Whatever you need, you have to ask. And you have to ask multiple times, because not everybody really understands the first time they hear it. But you are a success story in yourself, having pulled yourself up from where you came from to where you are today. And there's a story there, Rashmi. So tell your own personal story amongst professionals on LinkedIn. Tell the girls' story, or let the girls tell their stories in a more baseline platform. That's not meant to be derogatory, but Facebook is a more egalitarian platform where you have soccer moms and corporate executives and teenagers all conversing at once. It's very different on LinkedIn. It is a professional dialogue on LinkedIn, and it gets hammered if you're not professional. So you really have to choose your place to speak. And then there's all the people that I suggested to you, each of which I think can really help you. And more come to mind as I hear your story and learn about it even more today. So I have another conversation to have with you with a guy who is one of the preeminent indigenous Indian tribes in the West. I can't mention the name of the tribe or his name without permission because the sensitivity's there, but that's fine. I can get the permission and connect you to the people he represents, who have same parallel stories of the people you represent. The ignorance, the drunkenness, the disease, the lack of real modernity, the irregular internet, which I don't know if that's the issue in the provinces in India where you are concentrating your efforts. He certainly has it on the reservations, and maybe, Darren, that's something that you've experienced as well. But yes, technology is the common denominator, but find the right place to place it, and you'll get a lot farther.
Mark, you know so many people, so many very interesting and successful people.
Some are even in front of me right now. That's the best part of it.
take the violent. Yeah, but
Seriously, seriously, but I do. I am fortunate in that I collect people like people collect items, and I
yeah.
reorder them as I need them, and I'm pulling the Indian chieftain out from that pile right now. I haven't spoken to him in 2 years, but that doesn't mean I can't get him to help you.
And Mark, I'm also thinking Rashmi should do a TEDx, because that helps so much to tell the story to the world. She will be on the TEDx website, and Rashmi, her story is so elegant, so painful, so beautiful, all at the same time. It will be viewed so many times on YouTube. Is there someone in our network combined who can help to bring Rashmi on the stage of a TEDx? Maybe that's something we have to ask worldwide, in our network. But I think it would be something that we can organize very fast. I like to do things fast, and I want to complete missions, not just dream away and create possibilities and then everything stays the same. I love to make a difference right now, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. So it would be anyone who's listening, please help us to get Rashmi on stage to do a TEDx, because I think that would be amazing. And Dorothy, you did a TEDx, right? How difficult is it to get a TEDx? Very difficult. You need to be as brilliant as you, Dorothy. So how can we organize this for Rashmi?
There's different things to do, so it could be very easy actually, or it could be very difficult. So I can give some pointers and put you in touch with some people. One of the things would be to go on the TED.com website and see who is organizing TEDx, if the topic relates to your story, and if they're not too popular. Like if you go to capital cities like London and Brussels, it's much more difficult. But there are many TEDx's, and there's a bit of luck, a luck element there as well, because sometimes it's a bit less organized or more organized and so on. So and then you can have access to TEDx speaker coaches who help you prepare your text. There's some TEDx speeches, so I certainly can give some pointers to anyone who wants. By the way, I'm happy to give those pointers.
And I tried once for Yoka to organize a TEDx as well, because I think she has an amazing story and she should be there as well. And I noticed that you can, what's the right word? That you can give a name and say, this is someone who should be on stage. What's the English name for that? I'm the word. Sorry?
Refer. Propose.
Yeah, a proposal. You can propose someone's name. Would be awesome if the whole Octopus movement nominates Rashmi to TEDx and say, listen, we don't care where, but she needs to be on stage somewhere and tell her story. That would be awesome, right?
I did a TEDx once, few years back, and that was along with one of trafficking survivors. And it was basically on the foundation, and it went well, but not very popular on TEDx. I don't know why, but yes.
So you have done the TEDx. Oh my good, Rashmi, you're telling me now. So we need to share this to the world. Oh God.
But Rashmi, do you have access to that video anymore?
Yes, I can share, with everybody that video.
Would you please? Because I would love to put it out to my LinkedIn colleagues. I mean, it's simple. All of us could do it. And even though we intersect, the more people that see it, if they didn't watch it the first time, they say, oh, wait a minute, Perry said it too, and Mark said it, and Eugenie said it, and Barbara said it. Well, I better watch this. Yeah. And then end it with a call to action. Please share this with people that will be fascinated
with us, and we will spread the word, and we will use the network to bring it out there.
Sure.
That went fast.
Due to some reasons, we had to remove the girl's video because she was underage, and but my talk is still there.
Okay.
And I will share the link.
We have amazing video artists in this room and can help and remove the girl and whatever you need, Rashmi. We can
Yeah,
help you
that
with that.
I already requested TEDx, so they have removed it, and now it's only my part which is there.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I'll make a
wonderful.
movie. Send me the audio. I love
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That went
And
fast.
is she still underage? You know, she may be.
She's no more now, so we cannot
Okay.
use that. Unfortunately, it's wonderful video, but
Yeah.
my hands are bound. I cannot use that video anymore.
And I agree with Barbara. Maybe we have to do another one, an updated one, and where you stand right now. But let's start with this one and share in our network and make
Yeah.
some steps. And
One
I
thing which, sorry, go ahead.
no, please, Rashmi.
One thing which I want to tell, that is something, which I have never done, is talking about my story, and which even Eugenie has been suggesting me for so long. And in fact, I'm very grateful to her, because she is the one who actually pushed me to even share it. So that is something, it itself is a story where, I have worked as a child laborer. I have gone through all kind of things and survived, and today it's a full circle where I am working with child laborers now. I never said my story in this way. So now, after these years, I feel that that story has more TEDx power than just talking about the foundation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Your story is what needs to be told on the
Yes.
stage. Yeah.
Because at that time, I just said that, okay, what I'm doing and how we are changing. And that's very common, because there are lots of organizations which are doing. So what's unique about us?
Thank you, Mark. You just gave a huge thing to Rashmi, and I know you, and I know you so well, and you're such a beautiful person. And I'm not saying that, I mean this. And Rashmi, Mark will help you with your LinkedIn profile and telling your story how you want it, and bring it out there. And Mark always over delivers, always.
One
So
thing that's just so wonderful for me is the satisfaction that both Rashmi and I get for helping her tell her story in a way she hadn't given herself permission to do. And that's cathartic. It's so beautiful when people say, "Wow, can I really say that? Is that something anybody cares about?" And I say, "Hell yeah, they care about it. But you have to get out from under yourself and do it." And Rashmi, I am a mean teacher. If you don't do what I tell you to do, we're going to have to talk about it. Okay?
and
I'm a
otherwise you will
very
call
good
Dr.
student,
Octopus,
Mark.
right?
You're a mean student. Good. You got a deal.
Hey everyone, Dorothy Auger is the one that connected Perry and I, and Dorothy's TED Talk is what connected me with my tribal elders and back to my language, and now I'm learning an indigenous language that is not dying any longer thanks to her, and she has written a poem, and we have just a few minutes left, so I'd like to give her just the floor. So Dorothy, would you mind sharing that with us?
Yes. So I was writing as you were talking. I've got actually two poems. So the first one is, well, you'll see. I'll just say them. While the world is spinning its tale of prosperity, young girls are fighting their parents for the right to live free, for their voice to be heard and their body to be held sacred. While the rich and the politicians agree, united in their greed, young women are abused and trafficked, more than we can count, in more places than we care to see. We need to connect people together. Notice that we are not alone in this, that what happens in India takes place in Kenya. We need to cross boundaries, not the boundaries of the body, but the borders of communities, transgressing not the souls, but the limitations of the mind. There are brave hearts dancing to light a new path. There are parents, hopeless, helpless, desperate for solutions. Let's help them provide for their families. Let's help them tell their stories, setting up technology, the online communities, so we spread the word, using art and tech as a powerful tool for change. A small step for us, a giant step for them. Denying those who profit from slavery and trafficking, reducing the number of slaves we each have. We are all traffickers. Clothes, cosmetics, car paintings through child labor, we are all traffickers. And the second poem. Your clothes brand you a slave owner. Your money abuses young girls. Don't put your head in the sand. Just like me, you are a trafficker. Although the cosmetics you use are protecting your innocent skin, they are harmful to the children forced to work. Just like me, you are a trafficker. That's it.
Thank you so much, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy.
I want to thank everybody for being here. Wonderful that we are connected this way and we're trying to help and make a difference for people who need that. I'm lost with words. This is it for me now. I think we just stop here. Thank you so much for you being here, Rashmi. Thank you, Dorothy, for these beautiful poems. Thank you, Eugenie, for connecting me to Rashmi and being here. Thank you, Barbara, for everything you do and the amazing suggestions you gave to me to help Rashmi and to paint the background for today. Thank you, Mark, for being an amazing person and always helping others and helping me. And my friend Darren, thank you for doing this together. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rashmi. We will be in touch and you will all hear from me. Thank you so much.
And a big gala casa, olagamutla gyara, olagamutla gyara. Thank you, Rashmi. We are blessed by you deeply and your story, and show us the way so we can tell your story. I'll just show our promo video on the way out. And thank you, all of our guests, for coming. Thank you for the connectivity and for all of the welcoming people in the network. Let's continue that positivity. If you're in the network, reach out to someone new today, please. That's how we start this. Tell your story to that person if you feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable, reach out to another. Keep going, because there's more positivity out there and we want to grow this. And we will grow this. It's happening. And we are moved. Thank you, Dorothy, for the poem. Dr. Octopus, you're a blessing, my brother. Rashmi, I'm encouraged and I can't wait to know more so that we can spread more. Thank you, people.
Thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you, my friend. And everyone have a wonderful day.
Yeah.